We're live. Okay, finally, this time that works. Perfect. All right, sorry for the delay, guys, in getting you this live session. But this morning, we are doing things a little bit different, as you can see. And this resulted in technical difficulties, of course, as it does all the time. Anyway, welcome to one of our live sessions. We are the team behind NZPocketGuide.com. And today we're going to be answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, this is Robin, and like you said, I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, because it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. Of course, when you're actually able to come to New Zealand, because yet again, at the time of recording this live session, the borders are still closed to most international travelers. But so that means that the only people that can actually travel around New Zealand right now are pretty much the people that are already here. But if you are overseas, it's never too early to plan the perfect road trip around the country. And the perfect place to do that is over on nzpocketguide.com, which is absolutely free for you guys to plan the ideal trip. But if you're not really into reading, I know it's not for everyone, then you can always come onto our live sessions, which this is what we're doing right now. Come to our live sessions every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time and ask your travel questions in the live chat. But if you do miss the live session, then you can always put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos. And we go through some of those questions as well during the live session. And sometimes we pretty much answer your questions directly to your comments as well. So ask away. Ask in the live chat right now if you have any travel questions to do with traveling in New Zealand.
And welcome to everybody to our new studio. So I've worked all week to make sure that we have something brand new to show you guys, something fun to play around with. So I hope that you like it. Tell us if you do like that or not. I am going to add this to the poll, and you guys can tell us if we should keep that new studio or not. I hope we do, because we spent the whole week on that one. So sorry about all the nonsense this morning. How is everybody going? So let's have a look at who is there today. We're having Extreme Talauta that says Morena.
Morena.
What does Morena mean, Laura?
So Morena in the Maori language is good morning, and Maori are the indigenous people of New Zealand.
Clay, which is local in Dunedin, he says, it's all your fault, Nathan, for your comment before 8, hoping not to crash. Yeah, that was Nathan's fault. No, I'm joking. It's not. As you can see, we did things a little bit different today. So yeah, we had a bit of work going on behind the scene, and therefore I clicked on the button that made it crash. So it's entirely my fault.
Robin.
Yes. We also have Taylor Dalek. I don't know how to pronounce that, your last name, Taylor. I'm sorry. But we have Taylor that says, how is it going? It's going pretty well. We're pretty stoked about this new little studio right here that we've made because it will help us to do like more videos for you guys and all that. So yeah, tell us if you do like it. And also, don't forget to hit the like button, say that you like it. Yay. Do you like the new studio?
Yeah, so you can also answer on the poll, which is coming up on the live chat or is already on the live chat. And who doesn't like a good poll at 8 a.m. New Zealand time in the morning?
Yeah. There you go. Michelle says, Kia ora, guys. Kia ora, Michelle. Thank you for joining us the second live session. I saw that you were on the first live session, and then everything crashed, and so then I didn't see what you were saying. But I just saw your name. I saw Clay as well. I saw Nathan. Who did I see on the live chat? We had someone very early on that was asking questions as well, and I'm sorry.
So that's the live chat that crashed before we even got it started just this morning.
Right. Yeah. So Extreme Talauta says, how are we? We're doing really well. We're really excited about that new little studio right here. I think it's going to make our life very easy. It's going to be quite fun. And that also means that we're going to get some new video series coming up to you guys in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to have some new style of videos and everything. It'll be a lot of fun. And we have Nathan, which is here. Nathan, Clay was actually blaming you for the crash early this morning because you were hoping he wasn't crashing. So that's kind of funny. And he says, Kia ora, good morning. Taylor says, which of the South Pacific islands have you guys been to?
Ooh, we have been to, which actually we also have travel guides to as well. So if you know us from NZ Pocket Guide, we also have pocket guides for the following countries. So we've done Tonga. So we have tongapocketguide.com. We have Fiji, so that's FijiPocketGuide.com, and Robin has a nice branded mug over there to show you. And we've also got NuePocketGuide.com. So that's where we've been to so far. And we do have another one lined up, but that's a secret for now. We'll tell you guys more about that later in the year.
Yeah, in a couple of months. You guys
Yeah.
know all that. And for holidays, we've been to some places as well. So I've been to Samoa and places like that. But just as holidays for ourselves, just to visit and enjoy those amazing places in the world. Which of the South Pacific Islands have you guys been to? We also have Nathan that says, where's Whitbix? Laura, where's Whitbix?
I was just saying that this morning as well. I was like, the setup right now is doesn't seem to have much room for Wheatbix.
It's not Whitbix friendly as
it's
a
not
setup,
a Wheatbix friendly. It's not a good
hang it somewhere above your head or something.
Yeah, it's not a friendly habitat for our kiwi.
It's not a friendly habitat for you, but all right, guys. So as we have been doing every single Sunday now, we're going to go over through a little bit of a news segment. And so, yeah, let's get started. So welcome to New Zealand Travel News, the segment where we go over the news that people looking to travel to or around New Zealand may care about. We are the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. I am Robin, and this is Laura.
All right, let's start with some quite light-hearted news about New Zealand, starting with the Tokyo 2020/2021 Olympics.
It's 2021.
So, as the Tokyo 2020/2021 Olympics Games are underway, New Zealand medal tallies climbs up. So here's a quick recap of the current medal wins by Team NZ at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. So New Zealand has won themselves 5 rowing medals, 2 rugby medals, and for tennis, gymnastics, and triathlon, 1 medal each. Sorry. And so that's for a total of 10, with hopefully more on the way.
So that means that New Zealand is currently ranked number 10 in the list of countries by Olympic medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. And there will be, I'm going to be super optimistic, there will be some more medal on the way, with today on Sunday, a Dame Valerie Adams, which is going to be competing at throwing a big, really heavy ball. What's the name of that sport already?
Shot put.
Shot put, yeah. She's going to be competing at shot put, and she's one of our most experienced Olympic athletes. So pretty sure she's going to bring on some shinies for us.
Yes. Okay. Next in the travel news, we have news about the Australia travel bubble reminder. So quarantine-free travel from Australian states and territories is suspended from the 24th of July 2021. Return green flights from Australia to New Zealand have ended. If you are currently anywhere in Australia, except for NSW, which is New South Wales, you will not be able to travel back to New Zealand until red flights start. This means you will need to book a spot in managed isolation or quarantine. The suspension will continue for at least 8 weeks and will be reviewed in September. The only current 2-way quarantine-free travel bubble with New Zealand is the Cook Islands, a small nation in the South Pacific.
So that's right. New Zealand is still holding on to its policy of tolerating 0 cases in the country, which means that as soon as some cases started to spring up in Australia, the travel bubble was suspended. And so, yeah, we don't expect anything to be reopening before the end of September at the earliest, when the situation will be re-evaluated. However, there will be some border news in August, when the New Zealand government will announce its plan for border reopening in the future. We don't expect much reopening before 2022, just because, well, things are going to go really slowly and they're going to take a very cautious approach. And it will all depend about the vaccine intake in New Zealand as well, which is still quite low. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated.
Okay, we have a piece of travel news from Radio New Zealand, published on the 28th of July 2021. And the title is Milford Sound, Cruise Ships Could Be Banned from Inner Harbour. So the Milford Sound Opportunities Master Plan has outlined recommendations for the tourist destination. The Milford Opportunities Master Plan outlining recommendations for the destination was launched on Wednesday in Te Anau. Project Governance Group Chair Dr. Keith Turner said numbers into Pio Pio Tahi, which is the Maori name for Milford Sound, peaked at 870,000 visitors in 2019, up from 430,000 in 2013. Under the recommendations, New Zealanders would not need to pay access to Pio but private vehicle parking would be limited. International visitors would either pay for a parking permit or use a park and ride system to get into Milford Sound. Another recommendation includes closing the Milford Sound airstrip and not allowing cruise ships into the inner sound.
So that's obviously the big news of the week in the travel industry, and that's not really going to change too much the life of travelers in New Zealand, but there is still some items. So when it says about not allowing cruises around Milford Sound, don't be afraid. That doesn't mean you can't take a cruise from Milford Sound to go and visit the Sound. It's mostly for the really big cruise ship. Famously, the Queen Elizabeth II cruise ship was used to sail into Milford Sound, and it's not necessarily the best way to do things. So yes, don't be afraid. It won't really change if you're just traveling around New Zealand and want to do a small 2-hour cruise around Milford Sound. That's still going to be allowed. When it comes down to the airstrip, it's true the airstrip is taking one of the biggest flatlands in the country, so in the area. So if you are planning some further developments, you need to find land somewhere, and there is only a handful of sending flights operating over there for only a selected handful of tourists. So therefore, you're gonna have to break some eggs to make an omelette at some point. And the last thing is paying for parking. So it's kind of a way for the government to be able to basically incentivize more tourists to take the buses, because the roads in Milford Sound, the road to Milford Sound, is quite dangerous. So for this reason, I feel that putting quite a high price tag on having to drive down to Milford Sound, since for parking you will have to pay quite a lot, may incentivize people to take the bus, and therefore you will have less congestion on the road, as well as more just experienced drivers, since the bus drivers that drive back and forth there are pretty experienced. So that's kind of the train of thought behind that. However, none of those is actually going to take effect right now. They are all propositions that will have to be taken in consideration by the destination management organization down there. So we'll keep you updated if things change.
All right, and our final piece of travel news for this little segment is one of the awesome travel deals that we have found recently. So Skydive Franz Joseph, Skydive Mount Cook, and Skydive Abel Tasman have all got a really good deal for their locations, for their skydive drop zones at the moment. So at the moment, it's 499 New Zealand dollars for 2 people to jump from 13,000 feet, or 699 New Zealand dollars for 2 people, again, to free fall from 16,000 feet.
And so, yes, every single week we will pick one deal that we think is a really good deal around New Zealand, just to, tell you about it and see if you're keen on that. So, yes, that's for Skydive Franz Joseph, Skydive Abel Tasman, and Skydive Mount Cook. Check them out.
Yeah.
All right, so that wraps up this news segment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to reward our hard work and stay up to date with all our videos. Plus, check out nzpocketguide.com for thousands of tips, hidden gems, and much more. Let's go back to the live chat. What has been happening right here? Adil says, Kia ora, Robin and Laura. Kia ora, Adil. Kia ora. How are you doing today? We're having Mitchell that says, I have been to Whitianga and I do want to try the fish and chips from Snapper Jacks. Well, so do we, but the seagulls got to try all of them. I don't know if you did watch our video of us in Whitianga trying that, but the seagulls loved it, so it must be delicious.
Yeah, be careful if you do go to Snapper Jacks. Probably choose somewhere else to have your fish and chips other than just in front of the water where the picnic tables are. That is where we were struck down by the seagulls of Whitianga.
Yep. Taylor says, I'm thinking of doing a working holiday to New Zealand from the UK. Do you have to get health insurance? I think this is a stupid question, but I thought I would ask. Yes, it's one of the requirements of your working holiday visa to have a full medical and travel insurance. So yes, you do need to do that.
Yes, it is a compulsory part of the conditions of a working holiday visa. So it's not the case for people, for instance, who are coming to New Zealand just as a visitor. But yep, if you are getting a working holiday, then you do need to get some sort of travel insurance for the duration of the time that you plan to be spending in New Zealand.
For sure. We have Clay that says something to do in Dunedin if you arrived today for one day. Haven't made plans yet for today, and being local, it's easy to just say meh to each activity. So we are trying to decide. Okay, pick one in Dunedin.
Um, oh, this might not be really out there for a local, but have you been to the Otago Museum recently? I mean, there's always things that are changing there, and if you have been like a few, maybe you went a couple of years ago, there's always things that are changing. So if you wanted to do something and see what's new there, it's free to go into, and it's always fun to just have a pot around and see what new exhibitions they have.
Okay, I will pick the Otago Peninsula. I know it's an easy way out right here, but I'm such a sucker for wildlife. I cannot get enough wildlife. So going to check out the albatross, going to check out the seals, going to check out the little blue penguins, all that over there. It's just so good. So yeah, when was the last When was the last time you drove all the way to the Otago Peninsula and check out just checking out the albatross is just so good. So yeah, that would be the one thing I will do. I feel like this is my go-to for Dunedin. I'm just going straight for the wildlife.
I have done a new article on nzpocketguide.com this week, though. I have done the cheap eats in Dunedin. So if you want to check that article out and go out for some cheap food, then that is up there. I was absolutely ecstatic to find out that there's a shop in Dunedin which is dedicated to bacon butties. There's like a bacon butty station or something.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like some of the cheapest, everything's like under $10. I feel like I know it's really silly, but yeah, I found that amazing. I was like, wow, that's so cheap considering, most food in New Zealand just to have out is usually sort of a cheap eat would be between 10 and 20 New Zealand dollars, but this place is really cheap.
And Clay says, aha, we went yesterday. I'm thinking that was the Otago Museum, I'm guessing, because he said that quite early, but, context, Clay, context, please. Okay, what do we have? Khalid says, do you think students will be let into New Zealand before tourists? Well, that's an interesting case, right? Because when you consider students, right, they usually come to New Zealand for much longer period of time. And therefore, even if we still enforce the quarantine, there's still an incentive for students to stay in quarantine facilities for the required 2 weeks if you're coming to New Zealand for 6 months. However, if you're a tourist and you just come to travel to New Zealand for 2 weeks to a month, it's a hard sell to make you stay in a hotel room for 2 weeks. So for this reason, there are some train of thought that are brewing right now, which are thinking that some students may be allowed in the country before tourists. And in fact, there was an announcement earlier this year that stated that the New Zealand government allocated 1,000 spots in New Zealand for students that wanted to return to do their studies. It has to be master or above or PhD or above. So there was a lot of conditions, and you had to have already started your studies in New Zealand and have to be in the country to finish your study. So there was a lot of hoops to jump through, but there was some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, as a result, only about a quarter of those spots were actually taken. So there's still some spots for students coming to New Zealand if you meet some of the conditions which were outlined by the New Zealand government. So all of those things are, that's the thing. There's going to be a lot of conditions and everything, but that I'm making a thing that students may come back into New Zealand before tourists can. Yeah. So there may be the end, some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Did I use this expression already once today? I feel like I have. I don't know.
I don't think you have.
I think a deja vu.
It's a common expression. So
Kiwi Lauren is here. She say, "Oh there, hello." So I think she's just noticing the new little studio. We'll have to talk about that in a minute. When I finish reading the comments right now, I'll tell you a little bit about why we changed and everything like that. So Kiwi Lauren says, "Hey, so I've noticed that some of the base backpackers hostels that I've previously stayed in are closed, Auckland and Queenstown. Did someone buy them, or did they just close for their own reasons?" So obviously, due to COVID, the Bays and Nomads, which is the same company, the Bays Nomads chain of hostels have, struggled. And most of those places were actually not owned by Bays or Nomads. They were all rented. So they were fitted as hostels and then rented under management to the Bays chain. So the person that owns the building creates a hostel, and then he says, I don't want to run a hostel. I'm just a property owner. So I'm going to lease the management right of that place to a company such as Bays and Nomads. And those guys are going to make money and pay me really high rent because I made a purposely built building for them. That's basically how it used to work, right? And obviously with COVID, you can't pay those kind of rents and everything like that. So therefore, a lot of them have closed right now. I don't know if they're not just furloughed. mothballed. Let's use
Mothballs,
mothballs.
yeah.
So I don't know if they've not just basically been put to sleep and then reopened later. There's a lot of things that have changed. For example, in the town of Taupo, the base backpackers that was there has been completely rebranded, and the owner has decided to kind of run it as a hostel. So he basically kept all the staff and say, you guys know your job, I know nothing, you do your job, and we just rebrand it under another name. And there are a couple of other properties that have done that, but for Auckland and Queenstown, because they are notoriously high rent prices as well, you've got to be making big bucks if you want the business to stay afloat. And for those reasons, those two places are going to be the hardest one to kind of like get back in running. So if they get back and up and running, that's only going to happen when tourists can come back to New Zealand in droves. Otherwise, that wouldn't be a profitable business model. Anyway, here you go.
Yeah.
That's my way too in-depth response
Very
to that.
informative.
I should have just said
answer.
yes, but okay. All right, Taylor says, is £10,000 a comfortable amount of New Zealand dollars for a working... is a comfortable amount of money for a New Zealand working holiday?
Absolutely.
So just to give you a rough idea, that's about 15,000 New Zealand dollars.
Probably a bit more than that.
Yeah, well, let's say 15.
Yeah, let's say 15, but I think it is more than that. Absolutely. The sort of minimum requirement to come to New Zealand on a working holiday is around, I think it's around 4,500 New Zealand dollars, but we consider that really the bare minimum, and you'd have to start working in New Zealand, even within a couple of weeks of arriving to start, getting comfortable and making enough money to live on. But yeah, £10,000 or around 15,000 New Zealand dollars is definitely enough money to get you sort of, in New Zealand, traveling around a bit and, deciding comfortably where you want to stay for a while for when you are ready to start working. But it is really important to sort of travel around when you originally come to New Zealand and have a bit of fun, because it is, it's a working holiday in a new country. It's more about, the travel experience, and that sort of thing is kind of that's a really good thing about the working holiday. And then your sort of working side of things is, it's building life skills and character and all that good stuff. But, and helping.
No, I want you to build character, young man.
Yeah. But, it's, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely good, comfortable amount of money. And I like the fact that you save enough money in order to actually enjoy it rather than just having to grind. So yeah, just, find the right balance, as Laura was saying. It's very important.
Yeah.
She just said it better. All right. Clay said that you went yesterday in the Otago Museum, and they went to the Butterfly Museum there. The kids go to the Tortu on daycare trips often enough, so they didn't go there because they don't change the exhibition much over there.
Okay.
Cool. Well, then go to the Peninsula. I love the Peninsula, mate. I really do like it. Kalo says, hi guys, be honest, how nice is New Zealand without all the tourism? Honestly, it really doesn't change much. I have, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, so much tourists. Honestly, usually only for the hot ticket items, right? Like the big places, like the Milford Sound, even not really.
Because there's now more locals traveling the country than there previously locals were going overseas to have their holidays and stuff. But now those sort of tourist hotspots in New Zealand are actually now filled with the locals traveling. For instance, recently we did the Tongariro crossing.
I was about to take this signal. I was like, I know what I was going to say it.
Yeah, so we did the Tongariro crossing recently, which is the most popular day hike in New Zealand. And when we did it, we actually felt like it was busier than when the borders were open to all international tourists. So it actually did feel busier. And that's because I guess a lot of there's a lot of domestic travel in New Zealand, and now a lot of Kiwis are like ticking off the list all the stuff that they can do in New Zealand, since basically they have been stuck here for a couple of years now. So yeah. I mean,
we did the Tongariro crossing multiple times in summer, the high season, during before COVID, and there was less people than there was during the last time we did it, which was literally full lockdown, not a single tourist in the country. So it really has not changed too much. The busy places are still busy, and there are only a handful of them, and most of the time you have the country all to yourself. And even during the busy season, only during maybe Christmas time is the time when you struggle finding spots. Usually you're pretty sweet in New Zealand. So in short, we're too positive to be able to complain about that, Kalo. I'm sorry. All right, Krishna Kumar says, I have come across the information on the critical health worker from India with their family reach New Zealand through connected flights. Will you please provide me with travel guidance to reach New Zealand? So sadly, we're not able to do that. So in New Zealand, you have to be a registered immigration advisor in order to be able to give immigration advice to someone. And sadly, we are not registered. So for this reason, it's actually illegal for us to answer that question for you. So I'm going to put a little bit of a link for you on the screen. I didn't get that prepared. Today, I am so unprepared, people. I am so sorry. I think you should be ashamed of me. But I'm going to put a link there to Laura, take over.
Is this to the border predictions or the immigration? Okay, so yeah, Robin's going to put on screen right now the website address for Immigration New Zealand, which is the government body to go to for finding out information about migrating to New Zealand and what visas you need to get, etc., etc.
Yeah. So these are the people that you need to contact, and they will be able to help you and provide you guidance and help you know if you do qualify or not for some border exception. All right, guys, while we keep reading the comments right now, can you take a minute to tell us if the audio is okay and everything? So I had to obviously pad this whole room with this new studio and everything like that. And, I just want to know what you guys think about the audio as well of the live session today. So if you guys can give us a bit of information on your side, about this new setup, that'd be great, because I'll see when they're adapted.
Yeah, how is your viewing experience right now? I know that also I can hear the fan from your laptop right underneath the microphone, so I'm not sure if. Let us know if the fan is even heard, or if it's annoying, or if it's not heard at all.
Cool. So I'm going to keep going through all your questions, but if you guys can give a bit of information about how it is, if it was worth my entire week of work, guys. I would like to know if it works. I don't just need to hear if everything is nice and everything, but tell us what we can improve and everything. That'd be great. Okay, so Clay says, we go out there often. So that's to the Otago Peninsula, I guess. We have friends that live in Harwood. That's just before the Albatross Center. But now you say that we may carry on and head to the center and look at the guns, etc. And if Lou, which is his wife, and the kids complain, I'll partly blame you, Robin. Don't just partly blame me. If it gets you out of being blamed for an entire ruined Sunday, blame me entirely. No problem at all. So Lou and the kids, people here, I am forcing you to go to the Otago Peninsula and check out all the guns. I'm also forcing you to check out the Albatross because they're really pretty. And if you're not happy about it, please entirely blame me. Okay, you can record this one. Taylor says, I love this Q&A. So useful for a 19 years old like myself and all ages. It's additional information to your website and YouTube content. Honestly, enjoy them as well. Oh,
that's a nice comment.
Yeah. Christina Holden says, hi there. It's been a while. That has been a while. How are you been doing? She says, we are getting outside as much as we can before the colder weather comes in. How are you both doing? We're doing really well. We have been actually quite lucky this week. It wasn't too terrible weather. So we got outside. We got some walks in. Yeah. We got some outdoor filming for you guys as well coming up. It was cool. We had a good week.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. I like when people ask us how was our week. We also had plenty of friends coming over. We had a lot of good food.
A lot of snacks.
Yes, a lot of snacks. Yeah, I like when my week is filled with a lot of chocolates.
Yeah.
All right. Taylor says, when you arrive on your working holiday, would you recommend staying in a hotel for a while or something? And also, would you say apply for any job that's available? Do you want to get started on that, or do you want me to?
I could get started, but it's up to you. So first of all, I wouldn't stay in a hotel because hotels aren't very cost effective. They're kind of expensive. So what I would do is, first of all, stay in a hostel. Hostels are, they're a cheap accommodation where you can just pay for a dorm bed, and it's usually around between, say, 25 to 32 New Zealand dollars per night per person in a dorm bed. It's a good place for, if you're a young working holiday maker, to meet other people that are like-minded like you. It's a very social sort of accommodation, and you can, make some travel buddies, make some friends. And if you are staying in a hostel a while in a town where you want to find a job, then it's usually a good place to, meet other people that might also be looking for a job as well, and just, enjoy that social aspect of staying in a hostel. Do you want to take
the first thing that I would be doing, actually, technically, I wouldn't stay in the hostels, right? I will stay in a hostel for maybe like a couple of days only and do a couple of the paperwork that you need to do. And we do have some videos here on like how to plan the first week on a working holiday and everything like that. So we have like full guides for you. But yeah, so you stay in the hostel, you do a little bit of the paperwork, and then you start traveling around New Zealand. So important, especially for someone like you that's going to have such a big budget, which is really good. So travel around New Zealand and find yourself a spot that you really enjoy, and then there you'll be able to find a job. Don't look for a job in the big cities because there's going to be a lot of competition for jobs, and also that's not really going to represent what life in New Zealand is about. You will be able to find jobs much faster in smaller towns, cities, and you're going to have a true amazing lifestyle. You're going to hang out with the locals, do a lot of activities and everything like that. You're going to enjoy it 10 times more. So yeah, that's my plea to you.
Yeah.
Please just head on the road straight away, tour a little bit, either with your car or hop on the bus, travel a little bit around, give yourself a couple, 2-3 weeks, even a month, travel around New Zealand. When you find a spot that you really enjoy, stay there, find a job, stay there, work there for about 2-3 months, and then keep on traveling. Always have a plan, give yourself a deadline. Do not stay in a place for too long because then you're going to regret it because the next spot may have been really amazing as well and you wish you spent longer. So always tell yourself, if I'm finding a job somewhere, I'm going to find a job for only 3 months and then I'm going to move on again. So yeah, a working holiday is about having a lot of different experiences, not having the same grindy experience that you can have at home by just finding a summer job.
Yeah. And I understand from your perspective because like both Robin and I actually arrived in New Zealand on a working holiday. And I know before I came to New Zealand, I thought that I would need to plan what I was going to do when I got here. And I had in my mind that I would get a job straight away. But then actually when you arrive here, you start talking to some other people and just sort of realize that actually there's probably some better ways of doing things. Once you arrive here, it starts to make sense more what would be a better experience for you. You can, you can think as much as you want before coming to New Zealand. Oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. But honestly, once you come to New Zealand, things will start to be more clear what you should be doing and what feels right to do as well. But an article on nzpocketguide.com, which I think would be very useful for you, is our, what to do for your first week of a working holiday in New Zealand. So this article, which I assume Robin is going to find on the website.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. So this article basically outlines what you should do when you first arrive in New Zealand. So you can spend like maybe your first maybe 3 to 7 days, like actually, in one of the cities in New Zealand to set up your tax number, which is your IID number, setting up a New Zealand bank account, just sort of all those sort of things that you need to set up in New Zealand if you are staying here long term. Get yourself all organized there. And then, so that's what that article helps you. Lots of links to
even
show
tells you when to do your grocery shopping. I mean,
yeah.
You cannot get more in depth than that, right?
But when you first arrive in New Zealand, everything's a little bit different. You need to get
on day 4, you need to do some shopping as well again.
Yeah,
not just on day 1.
Just sort of like the sort of living sort of aspect of things in New Zealand. Just get yourself sort of used to that in your first week, and so that's what that article sort of outlines there, and it also gives you tips on how to plan on how to travel around New Zealand afterwards and get yourself ready and set up to do that.
Yep. Sorry, I just had some easy sass.
Are you mocking my article?
I am. Okay, cool. Okay, where are we on? We have Mitchell that says, Hobbiton, what a great place to visit for me. And I did have food over there. Oh, nice. So you did an evening tour. It's pricey, but it's kind of a unique experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's not often that you get to live in a movie set.
Yes.
I felt like a movie star.
It's a very special, especially if you are really into the Lord of the Rings and stuff. It's definitely a really special experience to experience like the tour as the sun is setting. And we do have a video actually on our channel, so you can check out us doing that very experience.
Yes.
Where we then we do the sort of sunset tour around Hobbiton and then have a nice big buffet in the Green Dragon and then do a bit of a night tour afterwards.
Yes. So YouTube is giving me a reminder right now. There's 14 of you watching and we only have 4 likes on the video, which means that you guys don't like our video. Therefore, YouTube is not happy. And YouTube says, tell people to like your video. They're not liking. So please do that so YouTube is happy.
And it would make us happy as well.
It does. If
it doesn't motivate you to make YouTube happy,
yes. Very happy. Though those little buttons right here change my life. Cool. Nathan says the audio is good and the viewing is good. Perfect. Taylor says, what inspired you took your heart to make you want to move to New Zealand? I worked in travel in a big bunch of countries, and then I arrived in New Zealand. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I like it. And so I stayed there. But yeah, I did working holiday in Canada, in Australia, in the US. What else there? I worked in a lot of different countries and did a few. Yeah, New Zealand was pretty awesome. I was supposed to be here only for about 3 months, and I was like, you know what? I'll stay here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, for me, the nature and the sort of outdoors, beautiful landscapes of New Zealand is the thing that really, made me think, oh my God, this place is amazing. And also, I like the fact that the population is less than in the UK, which is where I originally come from. The UK feels really busy, and there's lots of cities, lots of people. And then when you come to New Zealand, it feels like you could just sort of relax a little bit because there's less people around, and just feels more sort of like when you're living in small towns, it's more of a community vibe. And
you exchange fish and baked good with your neighbors. That kind of takes your heart.
Yeah.
Thanks to the 4 people that click like after my plea for YouTube. Very happy. I have to learn with this new studio how far can I go. Can I do my gesture? I have to be around here. 4. Thanks to the 4 people that did that. Nice. We're gonna have to get used to the new studio and everything. What else do we have? Oh, Kalo says, besides seeing the Southern Lights, is there anything that you have yet to do or see in New Zealand? We haven't been to the Islands, which are quite a really far away islands from New Zealand, so there is some population there. So we haven't been there. We haven't done a cruise to the Antarctic, so we haven't done any,
No.
Which is something that you can do from here, but there are tens of thousands of dollars to do this kind of things.
I can think of a random activity that we haven't done.
Oh, which one?
We haven't done the Harbour Bridge in Auckland, where you walk over it.
Yeah. No, I've done that I've done this. It's actually the same. I've done it in Sydney.
Okay.
And it's
the
same. So
Yeah,
but yeah, I haven't done this one. That's
I
true,
had a couple of friends recently that did it because they live in Auckland, and they walked over the bridge, and I was like, oh, that's actually something that we haven't done. So yeah,
that's true. That's true.
There are some activities out there that we haven't done, and that is one of them.
Kim Loren says the audio is good. Is the setup more comfortable for you guys than the previous one? Doesn't get more comfortable than the couch, doesn't it? But no, it's not more comfortable as per se, like sitting and everything. But it will allow us to control the environment a little bit more. There should be less shadow, there should be better lighting, and all these kind of things. Technically, it's supposed to be better audio, but Clay did say that I was in a little bit of a box, but I think that was the screen of the computer, so I moved it a little bit. Did this improve that? I do not know. And also, I really wanted to kind of have a room dedicated to doing all the recording rather than having to bring all the gears to our living room all the time and do that. So I could do that because, and I know it's going to sound absolutely stupid, but there is a guy called Fabio that last week did a super chat and gave us €5. And €5 is about $8.50. And that made me realize that we finally, I was actually telling myself that if one day we ever get $200 worth of super chats and everything like that, I will actually take that money and go buy all the electrical stuff that I need to get and be able to actually set up the whole room. So yeah, he made us pass that threshold. So you guys can all thank that man called Fabio that just gave us a super chat, which is pretty cool. Now, my next dream will be to actually replace this thing right here with a TV screen, because therefore we will be able to show you a map of New Zealand. We will be able to show you some videos. We will be able to even put your guys' faces, so you guys can actually send us videos, questions, and put your guys' face there. We can also put the live chat right here, so you can see all the comments that we're getting and all these kind of things. So that'd be really cool. We would really enjoy to do that, but that's going to cost about 500 New Zealand dollars, which is about 300 euros. So we have to wait quite a while because we rely on kind of those little chat stuff and everything like that. Because to give you an idea, those live sessions on YouTube revenue, right? This one's not even monetized because YouTube decided not to monetize it. But to give you an idea, every week we do those sessions and we make between between 60 cents and $1.60. That's the range that I looked at how much money we're making out of those live sessions. On average in the last 50 live sessions. So the average was between 60 cents and $1.60 New Zealand dollars. So yeah, it's going to take a wee while until we can buy a $500 setup for the TV, but that's one day when a few people give us some super chats. So yeah, we'll do some fundraising at some point. One day I'll say like, oh, let's play a game and you guys can do some super chat and stuff. But yeah, I don't have any ideas just yet. But yeah. Anyway, you guys can thank Fabio for his donation. That is the story behind everything. And so yeah, so that's going to allow us to do more like an easier setup and more videos for you guys. Cool. Where are we on? Clay's laughing. Adil tells us that the video and the audio is 100% clear. Nice one. Thank you very much for telling us. Kalo says, do you guys know who Gone with the Winds are? I did watch some video. They're the guys that sails around, aren't they? And say, oh yeah, a sailing couple who are currently stationed in New Zealand for boat repairs. No, so we don't know them at all. I just seen one of their videos. They did a couple of videos about New Zealand or arriving in New Zealand and all that. So I'm always kind of watching those kind of videos and see what people think about our beautiful country. Clay says people who aren't here often or haven't worked out my odd humor yet must think I'm a tool or sometimes. No. Yes.
We cannot possibly comment.
I think people just kind of realize they saw in good fun. They see her kind of laugh and everything. So yeah. And Kalo says she's always a good fan of your drinking antics, which sadly we haven't had many border questions. So you must be way too sober to enjoy this live session.
Yeah.
Okay. Kiwi Lauren says, does Whitbeaks have a spot in your new studio? Well, Laura said that last second.
I knew this would be a problem. But yeah, as you can see, we have very limited space, so we don't know quite where to put what's his name? Wheatbix. Maybe we could squeeze him under there or put him on the back here. He wouldn't get prime spots like he did in our previous studio where he was always on the side.
But he will make appearances. He will be somewhere. I should have. You know what? I took some time to actually put myself a plant over there because I hate a room without a plant. It just makes me feel like, like having a plant in the room makes me feel like, I'm still living and breathing, rather than being enclosed in like tiny rooms all the time. So I took the time to put a plant, and guess what? I forgot about Whitbeak, so it's still somewhere on the couch over there.
Yeah, Whitbeak stays in our living room, all the way through the week. He's part of our lives.
When we have some friends coming over, they always ask, "What is this?" And we just don't worry about it. We don't go into details of our YouTube antics.
He'll have to come and be a guest star on our live sessions.
Yep. Clay says the sound is good and clear, so yeah. In line. I took your feedback about the sounds. Did what I do better. So yeah. Did it help what I just did? Okay, Printing Shop South Africa, I guess, says I'm very excited to come to New Zealand and starting a business photo studio. Oh, that'd be fun. You'll enjoy that. Jennifer Blakeney says very much anticipating the border opening announcement. How is New Zealand doing with their vaccination rate? Well, the last time we talked about it, we were 125th. Is that correct? That's what we were?
I can't remember.
I think we were 125th in the world last time. So let me quickly find that for you. I had that page saved. So we are not doing so well. We have vaccinated at this stage right now, as of last week, we had vaccinated 21.6% of the population that had one dose, and fully vaccinated 14% of the population. So only 14% of the population.
And we're part of that 14% of the population.
Yep.
Which goes to show how how lucky we are, because a lot of our friends that are living in different areas of New Zealand are only just starting to get their first dose available. But yeah, so we just happen to be living in an area where it's where they were rolling out the vaccines a lot earlier than other parts of the country, and but there's still a lot more people yet to be vaccinated.
Indeed. So we're doing pretty good. Pretty for us. We are doing pretty good, but sadly the country is being really slow. Good on me for having those page pre-set up for you. Pat on the back, Robin. Pat on the back. Christina says, Clay, I could ask about the questions. I want to come in February, March next year, but we heard that someone in your government mentioned the border won't open until fall 2022. Anyone else heard that? We are trying not to pay too much attention to all those rumors. In August, the New Zealand government will be making an announcement with their plan forward, right? So once we hear about their plan forward, then we're kind of going to have a really good understanding about what may happen. But again, the vaccination rate in New Zealand right now, only 14% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated. Until we reach the 70 to 80%, we don't have herd immunity, and it's highly unlikely that our government is going to decide to reopen the borders before that. So, yeah, we try not to speculate or to listen to rumors because we don't like to spread fake news. Therefore, we are just going to stick to either predictions, and we make sure we spread that as prediction, and or otherwise we're going to wait for the official announcement this August. And we're pretty excited about it. So we did the 1st of August here in New Zealand. So, it is already August. So by the end of the month, we should hear something. And we'll let you know for sure, Christina. You do know we make videos as soon as we get some news. Nathan says, I've been having internet problems. Oh, no. Is it due to the bad weather? Sometimes the bad weather flickers the internet. I don't know why, but it does that here. Clay says, I can't believe you guys have exhausted options in New Zealand and reached out for the Chatham Islands as a thing to do. I'm so jealous. We have been pretty lucky. We have been pretty lucky to be able to do that much in the country. But that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy doing other things, which are very similar to what we've done before, or redoing some of the places that we really enjoyed. Extreme Talota is saying bye-bye, Extreme Talota. And then we're having Clay that says, I have a spare TV here doing nothing, but it would probably cost the same to get it there. Yeah. So the TV that I want need to be 32 inches because that's the size, basically the size of that frame. So it's going to be in the portrait mode. So it's 32 inches. So it doesn't cost too much. The TV itself is only $300. But then it's all the, you need to have a stand. So the stand is already $70. And then you need the HDMI cable to go with it. You need proper wiring and everything. So that's why the whole cost would be about $500 to do that. As mentioned, when you guys give us some super chats or anything like that, we do not keep any of the money for ourselves. We're just trying to improve the things that we're doing, to make it all nice. So yeah, feel free to donate to the NZ Pocket Guide Studio Fund. Woo! There are some better causes to give money to though, but save a penguin instead. But yeah, if you do want, your face on our wall, go nuts. Cool. Where are we? Mitchell says, have you ever been to Shelley Beach near the Corandel? I have. It's nice. It's very pretty. There is actually a little walk that you can actually get a little bit of a vantage view on there and get some nice photos and everything. So yeah, it's a nice place. It looks nice. And it's even when it's really busy time of the year, it's never really that busy. I've been there in midsummer. It wasn't really that busy. So yeah, no, it's a good place to hang out at. Cool. We also have Taylor that says, question for Laura.
Okay.
What? Rude. Anyway, is New Zealand on average more expensive than the United Kingdom?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So grocery shopping. I could easily just answer yes. But yeah, for everyday things, for grocery shopping, the thing that got me especially in New Zealand is that the dairy products in New Zealand are really expensive compared to in the UK.
We export 95% of it, so that's probably why.
When I saw that a 1 kg block of cheese, well, when I first arrived in New Zealand, it was about $10, but now they're going up to about $13. I was blown away because I used to live off cheese back in the UK, just chewing on cheese all the time. But yeah, so yeah, things are do expect grocery shopping to be. It's not crazy expensive. But it is a little bit more expensive than in the UK. And also when it just comes to buying sort of everyday items, if you're wanting to get, things like a phone or, it's hard to get good deals. Like in the UK, you have access to, Amazon where, the shipping can be really cheap or free. eBay, that sort of thing makes there's ways to put the costs down and find good deals on items. But in New Zealand, if you want to buy something from Amazon, it's shipped from the US. They have something here called Trade Me, which is similar to eBay. It's an auctioning website, but because the population is much smaller, when you're trying to find good deals, they're not really that good compared to if you were in the UK. So yeah, that's a more long-winded answer to New Zealand being a little bit more expensive than the UK.
And here's another local pitching in for you, Clay, which is a local living in Dunedin on the south end, and he says New Zealand dairy products are probably better to buy in the UK than they are here. So frustrating. And yeah, it's because bulk buy is you make more money in selling it overseas. And yep.
Dang.
So the short answer to your question, Taylor, is yes. You could have asked me as well. By the way, have you watched Laura's video about the differences between New Zealand and the UK? She does have a full video of that, about 40 minutes, where she blabbers about the difference between New Zealand and the UK. You may find this video super useful.
Blabbers. That was his words. Blabbers about it. So if you enjoy, that's what you just said. She blabbers about the comparison.
I say those words without thinking those words. It's sass.
So if you enjoy blabbering, which I think is mostly what this live session is about anyway, we do blabber for an hour.
I'm never going to hear the end of it, guys. I'm never going to hear, help me. All right. What do we have? Nathan says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Yeah, we will stay here for a little bit longer today because we started late due to the technical difficulties. So don't panic.
We don't want to shortchange you
guys. No, we won't shortchange you. We'll stay for about 10 more minutes. So we still have about 10 more minutes together. So don't panic. Make sure to hit the like button to say thank you for all the hard work. Make sure to vote if you do like our new studio. So far, the yeses are taking it with 82% of people like the new studio. And again, as if we ever get some live chat, we'll buy a TV to put it here. Where do we have else? We have Girish that says, when is the border opening? And also saying, hello, how are you? We're doing well, thank you. So the border opening predictions, we do have a link for you right in the description of this video where we're going over when we think the New Zealand borders will open. But other than that, there is no news just yet. There's nothing official. So you'll have to wait until New Zealand government announcement, which is going to happen this August at some point. So stay tuned around the channel, first subscribe, all these things. We will make sure to keep you guys up to date. But check our prediction video. It's right in the description of this video. Click on the little arrow down and then click on that link and watch us blabber for 15 minutes about when we think the New Zealand borders will open. Actually, watch me blabber. I'm the one that did this video. Laura was like, I ain't doing it. And she was working in the background. The audio from that video is terrible, by the way. I was trying something new. I have to stop trying new things, by the way. I have to stick to what works.
You just need to be a stagnant sort of person.
Kiwi Loren say it's 30 degrees Celsius here. That's Canada. She says, my kiddo is ready to run through the sprinkler in our yard. Parenthood calls. Time to jet here. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you for popping in, Kiwi Loren. That was awesome to have you on board, as usual. Kano asks, do you like sailing? I do very much so. Laura, do you like sailing?
Well, on the limited times that I have been on a sailing boat, which has been in New Zealand, and we have videos on this channel of us sailing in Akaroa and in the Bay of Islands.
I mean, going on a sailing trip, not actually sailing, let's be honest.
Yeah, going on a sailing trip.
Let's just qualify that. We are not sailing ourselves. Otherwise, we're on a shore and boats are expensive.
Yes. So I've enjoyed being on a sailing yacht and experiencing standing on one and enjoying the sea breeze going by.
Do you prefer sailing on a single hull boat or on the catamaran?
I prefer a catamaran because usually they have that sort of netting that goes between the hulls, and then they can, you can get some bean bags out, relax, and sort of just spread out.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I like single hulls because I like when it's lean quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right, Christina is helping Clay getting drunk because Clay has a little bit of a game in the live chat. Every time someone asks about the live session, he pretends to have a drink. I choose to believe that you pretend to drink whiskey at 8 o'clock in the morning.
He takes a shot and he puts the shot into his Wheat Bix, into his bowl of Wheat Bix.
Yeah, that's true. He's not really doing that, guys. This is a joke. Don't drink before 9 o'clock. No, don't drink before it's an appropriate time, not 9 o'clock.
And don't put spirits in your Wheat Bix.
Yes, exactly. Alcohol is bad. Oh, it's okay. Okay, where are we on? Sam Smith is here. He says, hello, awesome experts. Sam from Australia here. Hope you both are well. Yeah, we're doing very well. Yeah, we're in a new little studio right here. We're enjoying ourselves, hanging out with you guys. I say, I love the Queenstown Bungee episode. Whoa, that was an emotional roller coaster. So brave, Laura and Robin. I'm right here with you. Sorry by the clock incident at the end. It was the best part. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, the clock. Yeah.
I was so frazzled. I even broke the AG Hackett bungee clock myself. So here you go.
That was your proudest moment, I think.
Oh, that was.
It's quite funny because
I had fun editing that video as well. Yeah,
it's quite funny because actually we did meet someone new yesterday that said, "Oh, I've seen one of your videos, the bungee jump one." It's like,
and then stared at me.
Yeah, that's always a good first impression to make when for people. Like if people have seen your bungee jump video, then. Yeah.
Hey, listen, when we do those videos of traveling around New Zealand and everything, right? Everybody is always trying to give you the perfect videos of everything looking pretty and everybody being awesome and stuff. You know what? We like to show you what the truth is. And that's one of them when I was kind of like, you know what? You actually scared bleepless, you know, when you do a bungee. And so, yeah, that's kind of like what we like to do, you know. And so most of our videos for all those activities, I mean, I don't know if you watched all of them, but there's actually 375 of them. So of us doing activities around. They're usually kind of true to this is what it looks like when you do this thing. They're usually too long. We're too excited about it. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen the Queenstown Bungee, just type Queenstown Bungee and then NZ Pocket Guide on YouTube. And yeah, you'll
see what we're talking about.
Yeah, you'll see me not being brave. Clay says, I was just writing blabbers. I have you back on that one. Aha, you blabber.
Oh.
Thank you. Taylor says, yes, sorry, Robin, kind of single you out on that question. No hard feeling. But I've got a question for you. How are you? I feel I'm getting the...
patronizing question.
I'm getting the patronizing question. But I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I did not take it bad. Obviously, that was a question directed to Laura. She's from the UK. What do we have? Girish says, thank you. Christina says, have another drink, Clay, because Girish asked about the borders. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot that we have all those little stuff down there. Oh, so well equipped in our new studio, guys. We have...
We have
Sam Smith that says, what is the most beautiful and picturesque lake in the South Island? Why are his one as there as many? I'm sorry, I can't understand. The most picturesque and beautiful lake in the South Island. I do love Lake Mapurika. It's a very, very stunning lake. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to be picking today.
Well, mine is pretty much a lake 20 minutes away from there. I was going to say Lake Matheson, which is...
so both of them are on the west. Sorry, I didn't give you context. Lake Mapurika is on the South Island of New Zealand, as you said. And it's on the west coast, and it's kind of a glacial lake, and it's really nice.
And you can do kayaking or boating or fishing on that lake, and it has beautiful reflections of Southern Alps from there. And Lake Matheson, which is the one I'm picking, is only about 20 minutes away, and that's based near Fox Glacier Town, and that has a loop walk going around the lake, and you get to see the lake from various different viewpoints. And also it's very reflective, and it reflects Mount Cook, which is New Zealand's tallest mountain.
Clay is asking, how would you get the last minute Tetris before the show starts, now that we are away? This is how you get the last minute Tetris. We were playing on the Switch anyway, so, we just undock the Switch and bring it to here.
Yeah, we never usually play the Switch handheld, but we thought we can actually do that.
And if I'm turning it on, look, Tetris was there. So don't worry, she did get a last minute Tetris before we got started.
I got my fix.
So here you go. We have Taylor that says, give it a go. People put whiskey in your cereal. You may find bedtime will come early. No. Nathan says, have a great day and see you next week. He's lovely. Nathan, you're the best. But we have a couple of minutes, so we've
Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
You're the best, Nathan. We have Clay that says, I have Laura's back. Say, no. Well, she was blabbering. No. Don't have her back. Okay, and Sam Smith says, this is my second go through your gap year. It helps me pass the time waiting for my move to Christchurch. I love your work. Oh, that's really nice. Cool. So you watched 375 videos one time of us stupid faces doing things around New Zealand. And then you told yourself, you know what's going to be nice? I'm going to do it again. That is crazy.
You're crazy.
That is insane, mate.
But thanks for watching. We appreciate your views.
Of course. So that's really nice. All right, guys. So I hope that you like this new studio. I hope that you like this new setup. This is what we're going to be doing for the foreseeable future right now until you guys tell us that you hate it. And again, I would like to thank Fabio for giving us that little extra, super chat money that helped us pass this $200 that allowed me to sort out this whole studio. And so yeah. Once we reach an extra 500, I'll put a screen right here, and so we can have your faces, we can have all your live chat and everything coming just right here. That'd be really nice, but that costs a lot of money. And yeah, so if you guys want to do some donation, go ahead on the super chat. In the meantime, this week we're gonna have some more videos coming up for you guys. Yesterday we had like a minute video of like travel tips for August, but yeah, we do have some more videos coming up. We have some New Zealand's biggest gap year revisited that we've been doing that quite a lot. We do have some travel tips, and on Saturday we may have a new style of video coming up, so stay tuned around. And we'll see you next time at exactly the same time. It's always 8 a.m. New Zealand time. Oh, and tomorrow, keep an eye up. There may be some travel news coming up as well. So yeah, there's a new style of video as well coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are happening, and we're gonna stop with printing shop South Africa that says very nice studio, 110%. And that means that we also have to look at this. Oh, we also have Sam Smith that wants us to do a New Zealand biggest gap year #2. That'll keep us busy.
Yeah.
We're gonna close the poll right now. So 83% of you guys say that you like the new studio. So that's a seal of approval for my work this week. I'm really happy. There's a lot of work that gone on. It looks pretty ridiculous.
You don't get to see behind the scenes, but we literally have bed covers hanging from.
It's not bed covers. It's a professional setup.
It's a bed quilt hung
yes.
from the and our ceiling is padded out with some sort of noise cancelling
foams. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so if you maybe we'll do a behind the scenes tour for you guys one day, and you'll get to see the crazy setup that we have here.
Yeah, and there is some like felt. I'll show you this one.
Coaster.
So we have felt coaster, but there is felt basically on a lot of surfaces to stop the noise as well and all these kind of things. So yeah. Anyway, cool. So yeah, thank you very much for approving on all that. That's really nice. And I'm sorry about the couple of people that say that did not like the new studio. I hope that this will grow on you, hopefully, and that won't make you hate us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I will find a way to put Whitbix somewhere, so maybe that's gonna make you guys like it more.
Yeah, we'll make him a shelf.
Clay says Prince Philip came in the 80s and then went to Australia and was asked what he remembered most about New Zealand, and his answer was the smell of fresh paint. That's kind of funny.
The smell of fresh paint.
That's why I like your video. It's truth and not sugar-coated to impress. And
so we're like Prince Philip.
You know what? I feel princely. But yeah, no, that's true. Like, he said that because that means like, everybody was like quickly painting before he came over. Right? So that's kind of a joke. So yeah, we do the same thing here. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this live session. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week.